In today's video, tips for managing staff who work from home. This could be really useful. 10 tips coming up straight after this short intro. I'm Paul Simmons of Simmons Research, so I'm going to minimize myself and I'm going to talk you through the 10 tips. So let's take a look with tip number 1. Communicate clearly and regularly via a variety of media, and also hold one-to-one and team meetings. It can be a little bit of a learning curve for staff and for yourself as a manager or team leader, getting used to working from home or dealing with people working from home. So communication can change a little bit. So just like you would if you were in the same physical space, I suggest to hold regular meetings. So okay, these meetings are going to be virtual meetings, and once you start using services such as Zoom or Skype for Business, it's actually very easy to see everybody on screen. You can see all of your team on screen at the same time. Regular communication needs to be scheduled and you need to keep it regular. Keep some structure. You want to keep structure when you've got staff working from home. Give them a sense of some kind of structure. So this is very important. A lack of communication can lead to an employee feeling isolated and disassociated from the rest of the team. This isn't good. In addition, a line manager might not realize if and when a member of staff needs support. Through holding regular team meetings and one-to-ones, you can get a much better idea of how your employee is feeling. This is really important, of course, in managing your team and your staff. Number 2. Provide up-to-date technology and IT support. Now, this will be one of the most frustrating and often problematic things for your staff who are working from home. Their computer doesn't work, it's slow, they're using their own machine, it's not as fast and efficient as their work machine. So this really becomes an issue quite often for employees who work from home. You need to offer the right IT support so that you can prevent your employees from feeling frustrated. You want to do whatever you can to have them focus on the work that they're supposed to do, not to be caught up in just managing their computers and IT problems. And of course, they're not going to have the IT person in the house like they would if they were in the office. They're not going to have the same level of IT support. So one thing about staffs who work virtually is that quite often, not always of course, but quite often they will be using their own computer, their own laptop, not the workstation that they would otherwise have if they were going to the office. So with this in mind, there are 3 things that you could help as their manager to try and guide them towards. So you want to make sure they have a good antivirus program. Norton is the one I use, but there are other examples. Maybe as the company you can help to subsidize this. It all depends certainly on the size of your company and the resources. A cleanup program such as Norton Utilities or McAfee Quick Clean. This is extremely good for helping your staff who work from home to be productive by having a clean machine and a machine that works faster than it otherwise would. Also, a PC repair and tweak tool. Reimage is an excellent tool. I will include a link to Reimage below this video. Software such as Reimage will help to keep their computer clean. So with these kind of tools, you would hope that people use these type of tools on their home machine anyway. But if they use a machine for work, then you have an invested interest in making sure that they are productive, so they have a clean machine, and that they have security, so that their files are secure, their work files. So how can you as a company or as a manager, as a HR department, help to guide your staff to having a machine that is fast and productive? One of the best things, and this is my tip, is to provide a work from home IT document. Have a document that guides them how to set certain things up, how to find and buy certain software, how to get a subsidy from your company if you provide a subsidy for certain software. Have a document that encapsulates all of this information with print screens with clear instructions, and make it easy for them, for your staff who work from home, who work virtually, to be more productive. And this of course will help you as a company. Number 3, empower and reward employees when managing staff who work from home. It can be much easier when staff are working from home to not think about how you reward them, but they need always to be appreciated. Staff, as we've mentioned before, can become or feel more isolated when they're working from home. So I think this show of appreciation becomes even more important than ever. One thing you can do, and this is not so much about showing appreciation, but a way that you can make them feel good about what they do when they work from home, is to empower them. Empower your employees. The beautiful thing about virtual work and staff working from home is that it gives you the chance to give them power, to give them more authority, and to make them take responsibility for their job. And you will be surprised how some staff really flourish when they see that you trust them, when they see that you're giving them more opportunity. You will be quite surprised how some employees will really thrive. They'll become more productive and they feel empowered. So having staff working from home can be a wonderful opportunity. Empowerment is the key here. It's also worth rewarding staff for a job well done. This doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, such as a financial reward or vouchers or nothing, but remembering to say thank you as a manager. This might seem obvious. You'll be surprised though how many managers forget. When staff are working from home, they forget to show this appreciation in the same way. It could be just through email, or it can be when you're doing one of the weekly or daily team meetings, or it can be when you're doing the one-to-one. Use the one-to-one that, remember, you will make sure you've got scheduled. When you do the one-to-one, make sure you show your appreciation. Keep structure. Remember to give praise. Number 4, set clear expectations for working hours. Now, one of the things about working from home as a staff member is you can lose this structure that we've talked about in some of the previous points. A sense of structure is really, really important, especially as we're going to talk about mental health on the coming points. Structure is needed. And one thing though is that you do want to offer flexibility, and one of the beauties of working from home is that you can, if you wish to as a company, provide flexible working. Now this is different to setting working hours. If you're offering flexible working, fair enough, but still make it clear what the constraints are and what the flexible rules mean. Communicate clearly. If you have structured hours, make it clear what the hours are. It is important for you as a manager or employer to let staff know if there are specific time slots when staff need to be available. You have business demands, so you need just to communicate very clearly to your staff the expected hours, the flexibility, what the plan is. Number 5, encourage employees to take breaks and to look after their health. We want staff to look after their own health, their physical and mental health. Workplace health, in other words, is very important. Even if the workplace is their own home, of course, it's very important we look after our staff. One thing you can do is provide digital well-being, mental well-being and health training for employees. You can actually look at the training programs we have. The digital well-being course is very good, I think. Let's take a quick look at that. The digital well-being course materials, which includes PowerPoint slides and everything else you need. This is a 2-hour course. This is a course that can be delivered virtually. So you can do this as an online course. It includes the online trainer notes, and you deliver digital well-being training to your staff who work from home, mental health awareness training at work. You can deliver this digitally as well, so people can do this as virtual training, online training. So you may want to start by offering some courses to do with mental health awareness and digital wellness. Point number 6 ties in with this: provide mental health support. So you may want to provide training, but what you can also do, you want to provide mental health support. So you can do things such as, in addition to the IT document, you could have a document that makes it clear for your staff who they turn to and how they get support, who they call, or should they turn to the line manager. You make it clear to your staff what they should do if they're at home working and if they need to support. Who are the people they should call? Make sure you have a document offering support, laying everything out. Also, there's some fantastic training, as we've mentioned. So the mental health awareness at work training materials is great for managers, and you can use that to teach your staff. So it's just a 2-hour course, but you can do it as a 1-hour course. Provide these type of training programs for your staff. It can be very, very useful for helping mental health support. Number 7, encourage virtual social events. So your staff, as we've mentioned before, are not meeting in the same way as they would in a workplace. They're not going to the kitchen or to the canteen, staff room, having a cup of coffee, chatting with people. It's pretty clear, isn't it, that they're not getting the same social interaction if they are working from home. But as an employer or manager, there are many initiatives that you can take. There are many ways of organizing virtual social events. Point number 8. Maybe this point should have come earlier because it's really an important one. And it's about the physical health of your staff. So make sure the office setup is safe and ergonomic. So you can certainly do things to help and guide your staff into having a very good physical environment. Having a chair that is good for your back. Having a desk that is at the right height. Depending on the size of your company, you could send an assessor to your employees' home and to advise them on their home working setup. This may not be possible, of course, if you work in different countries or different counties. What you could then do is ask your employees to do a self-assessment questionnaire to fill out the information about their ergonomics and their work environment. And based on that, you can try and help them. Certainly, though, you can provide staff clear instructions, and you could consider making a document on best practice for their home office setup. Number 9, create a working from home policy. So this actually, to be fair, encapsulates many of the things we've already talked about, having these checklists. But what you want to do is have a policy that summarizes all of these things. How you can support your staff who work from home. And you can include things such as the working patterns, communication, how communication should take place, instructions on the safe working environment, so the ergonomics that we've just talked about, the links, information on how to get health and well-being support if they're working from home, the sickness policy, overtime policy, procedures on dealing with security issues that we've talked about with the computer, the antivirus, these things. This can be really useful. Finally, and this is important, number 10, be alert to signs of distress from your staff who work from home. Their well-being is going to be harder in some ways to evaluate because you're not seeing them physically every day. So if you see them every day, you can quite often get a sense of their well-being or not. So it can be a little bit harder to pick up these signals and these signs when your staff are working from home. But as you remember on point number 1, if you have regular team meetings and regular one-to-ones, you'll have a chance to try and pick up these signals, a chance to talk to your staff and just ask if everything is okay and to talk to them. So these regular team meetings are important for staff who are working from home. And by the way, if you're a HR department or you're a company and you want to teach your managers and team leaders how to manage virtual teams, we have the course materials. You can download them instantly. As soon as you pay for them, you can download them instantly. They're customizable. Let me give you a quick look. Managing virtual teams, training course materials, customizable, comes with the PowerPoints, trainer notes, participants workbook. Let me show you some slides. Skills of an effective virtual team leader, goes through all the different points. Trainer notes for the slides for the PowerPoint presentation. There's about 20 or 30 slides, so these are just a couple of slides and a couple of the print screens. It's 45 PowerPoint slides, 45-page trainer's workbook, etc. It's there. I will include a link below to the Managing Virtual Teams training materials. Thank you for watching this video. There's 10 tips. I think some of them are very useful. It should help you to manage your staff. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to this channel. If you're on YouTube, you can look just below. You should see a subscribe button. As always, I'm very grateful that you watched this video. This channel is aimed at helping employees, employers, HR departments, freelance and corporate trainers. If you have any ideas and any comments to add, you can add the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, and it's normally every Thursday. See you soon.